Senior Stay or Go TV. Today our two guests are David and Trudy. Thank you so much for joining us today. David and Trudy recently moved to a senior community, and they're going to tell us a little bit about how they made the decision to get there. And David, I think we'd like to start with what your motto is.
My motto is happy, healthy, and have fun.
And Trudy, what's your motto?
To thine own self be true, thou canst then be false to any man.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us today.
We thank you for being here. We met about a year and a half ago, maybe.
Been that long?
Oh, I hope.
Time flies when you're having fun.
So we want to go into the background of what factors went through both of your minds and what kind of preempted the move to a senior community, the Remington here in North County. And Trudy, we'll start with you. What factors went into that decision-making process?
Well, some of our friends moved away. A lot of our friends moved away. We only had a couple left. And also we needed some other activities, and we wanted to be more social. And things were getting tough to take care of the house, things like that.
Okay. David, what was the background for you to make this thought process?
It was really kind of more easy for me than hers because it meant that if we moved to the Remington, that she wouldn't have to cook and I wouldn't have to do the chores around the house, make sure the gardener is there and clean up in the kitchen every night. This is much more fun and somebody else does it for us, so it's much more fun for us to have a more gentle life.
Also, to have our kids not have to worry about selling the house. We just leave everything, and then we took care of it, and then they don't have to.
And given before you made that decision, I mean, you lived in Rancho Bernardo, which is up in off of 15 corridor. And how many communities did you look at before you decided to make the Remington your new home?
Oh,
About 7.
yeah.
So it was a process. It wasn't
was,
something
yes.
you decided, oh, we're going to do this and tomorrow you
No,
move.
actually,
It
we
was a
just
process.
started looking just in case, and then we got more positive about it.
And what were those factors over the other 6 that you looked at?
Well, I had a very nice, large apartment, and the food was good. I had been in Remington before, and we knew about the food. And it was close to where we lived, so we didn't have to change anything. We had the same groceries, the same banks, everything.
David?
I'd have to agree with everything she said, and one thing we should mention is that our social life was getting too slow, and we're at a time of life now where we need activities to keep us awake. And so after we lost a number of friends who either passed away or moved away, we decided that it is probably a better time now than to wait until we have to do it, because as we made the rounds of the close to 7 facilities that we went, some of them had a 2 or 3 year wait. Well, we didn't know what our health would be in any one day, and so we decided it better to make the move before we have to and can choose the one we want, and we thought that was a better for the 2 of us. And as she also mentioned, then the kids don't have to worry about selling the house and all the other things that are normal after a person passes away.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So you mentioned you needed more activities. So what activities have you incorporated into your daily routine now that you're living at the Remington that you weren't able to do when you were at home in your own home?
Well, there are exercises, both they call it chair exercises. There's pool exercises. We play bridge and rummikub with a number of the people. There are trips that we take on a bus. And they cornered me for a job, and I became the food chairman the first week I was there. And that's going to lead to my being president of the Residents Association comes July 1st. So I'm keeping busy going to meetings and meeting with staff half the time to take the customers' complaints or things they do like and bring it to management. And that's my job.
So you're the spokesperson for everybody in the community to get back to management to make sure everybody's happy.
That's the general idea. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Trudy, does that surprise you that he?
Not at all. No, no.
Well, you have a business background.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about that. And so that's why you're doing what you're doing.
Well, I moved here in 1980 from Chicago. Sold my previous business, which was a chain of ladies' specialty stores in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And then I came here. I wanted to take a job because I was still only 59 years old. And everybody says, you're too old, we can't teach an old dog new tricks. So to make a long story short, I started a jobbing business, and that led to the adhesive business, and it moved from one phase to another, getting more and more adhesives for the different industries. And then I started traveling up and down California and some out of the state places to see who would be interested in one of the many adhesives that I sold for their assembly lines in the factories. And that was interesting because every place you went was a different product that needed a different adhesive, so it was a challenge every day, same as I used to have in the ready-to-wear business, where women's lengths would go up or down, their colors changed, their fabric would change, and I like to have fun, and that's what I do.
And Trudy, what have you added to your daily activities?
Well, they have all kinds of programs where people come and talk about different subjects. The Continuing Education Center has classes in the next building that we can go to, and join the book club. I already was in a book club outside, so now I have 2 books to read.
That keeps you busy.
Yes.
But you're also involved in activities outside the Remington.
Yes,
I'm glad to share.
Yeah, I'm treasurer for Brandeis National Committee, our entrepreneurial branch.
What does that entail? I mean, you're counting the money, or is there?
Well, whenever we have an event, I have to collect the checks and account for them and send reports to the National Committee. They're very strict about it.
And these 2 folks are the most computer savvy folks that I know that are over 60. I'm not going to ask your age, Trudy, but if it's okay, may I ask your age, David?
I'm 95.
95 years young, and the president of the Remington, what association? Or,
Residents Association.
Residents
But
Association.
not till July 1st.
July 1st.
I have a little rest in between.
And what is that, a 2-year term, or have they given you
1 year.
1 year? And
But you could maybe stay on if people will nominate you. We'll see.
I have a feeling it'll be more than 1 year. So, given the act of moving, which is never easy, no matter how hard you try to make it easy, it's always kind of a little bit of a hassle. But you worked with a senior move manager, and you worked with us to get your home sold. So what was it that sent you in the direction of the senior move manager? Had you heard about how they worked? Had you been referred to Sandy? How did that all happen for you?
We've heard about other people having moved and utilizing that. And you recommended one, which turned out to be very wonderful. They had a floor plan of the apartment that we moved to. They tagged everything and let us know where we wanted to put it. And they sorted and packed and unpacked, installed the computers and the TV, hung the pictures. So when we walked in at the end of the day, it was as if we'd already lived there.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great feeling, isn't it? Mm-hmm. My understanding is she'll even put everything in your medicine cabinet exactly the way it was in your home. So you don't have to go looking for something and wondering whose home you're in and where they hid it.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Well,
It's
that's
beautiful.
not 100% true. There's a couple little things were not in the right place, so we had to make some minor changes. But
very
basically,
minor.
as Trudy said, it was fantastic. We
Great.
didn't have to do hardly anything except tell them, do this, put this here, put this here, put this here, and it was over, and we're sure glad that we used their service and your service.
Well,
Awesome.
thank you.
Awesome.
So I want to get into a little bit more, another subject. You 2. How long have you been together, and how did you meet?
You do that, Trudy.
Well, we had both been widowed. I was a widow for 8 years. His was a little less. And went to
singles group.
Singles group, right. And I spotted him. He knew one of the women that I was friends with, so that made it easy. We started, he lived in Carmel Mountain, and my friend lived in Rancho Bernardo, and they had known each other before. So they decided to go to the next meeting together, and my friend asked if I wanted to come, and I did, and that's how we met.
So was your friend set you up, or was she
Well-
after him?
Well, wouldn't say set me up, but well,
A little bit. Just with an invitation.
And where were you living at the time?
I was in Rancho Bernardo too.
You were in Rancho Bernardo as
Yeah.
well. Okay.
I was in a condo.
And David, what did you think? Was it love at first sight, or how hard did you have to work on Trudy?
No, I was a recent widower, and Trudy asked me in the car when we had conversation going back and forth to the meetings what I'd like to do. I was still working at that time, and I said, but I'd like to do something in the evening or on the weekend. And she said, well, the Brown Center, Senior Center in San Diego, Rancho Bernardo area actually, has bridge lessons. Do you play bridge? I said, oh, I used to play bridge, not lately, and I'd love to do it again. And so we spent a whole year going separately to bridge lessons. And then one day she said, I have a friend that plays bridge, and would you be my partner if we go to their house and play bridge? And I said, sure, that'd be fun. So we did that for a couple evenings. And then one night or whatever it was, Trudy says, we have to cancel tonight because for some reason they can't play. So I said, well, we already made a time element tonight. Let's go out for dinner. And that's our first date. And that led to where we are today.
And how long? You've been married?
12 years.
12 years.
12
Wow,
years.
that's awesome. So if someone came to you and said, you know, I'm really torn, I'm trying to make a decision, do I stay in my home, do I move to a senior community, what are the advantages, disadvantages, what should I be thinking about, should I really even be thinking about it, or should I just do it? What kind of advice would you give them?
Well, talk to us and talk to anybody else who's done it, and just make sure that you don't wait until you have to go, and look around and see what the possibilities are.
What about you, David?
We just had a person move into Remington, and in the mailroom was a picture of the man. And we had recently just met a woman with the same last name. And I couldn't figure out what was happening, because when they put a picture up, that means the person is deceased when they put a picture up. So I went to the concierge and said, what happened? Well, they just moved in, and he was in hospice, and he just passed away. So it was a good thing that she already moved in, because now she was all set and
Not alone.
not alone, and that was the important thing. So I thought that was a wonderful thing there. And of the people there, I would say we don't know a lot of names, but we can go into the dining room or on the hallways and say hi, 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 and you know so many people, and we have dinner every night with a different couple.
And
or
us.
a couple singles people, and you. And it's just a wonderful place. Everybody's so friendly that we don't have time for anything else anymore. We're busy we don't know what we're doing all the time, but we're busy doing something all the time. Would you say that, Trudy?
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Well, you two are two of our favorite people here in San Diego, and Patty and I, it's been a joy to get to know you and allowing us to help you make that transition from your home to the Remington, and we're so glad to see that you're both thriving there, and we just wish you nothing but the best every day of your lives. So thank you so much for being here, and we wish you to stay tuned for more Senior Stay or Go TV.